Well, I got a new microphone and
I don't have a microphone today.
And a new computer, which the camera's loads better. But I don't say much. I literally say like one thing in this episode, as usual. So who gives a shit?
Yeah, I need to learn to shut up.
Yeah.
I think. Cool.
Kyle Johnston, he is the Grainery. He's the
the man
Grainery.
behind the great Grainery. Yeah, the man behind the Grainery app.
Basically,
which I'm sure.
Get off Instagram. Get off Instagram. Start using this. Enjoy your life again.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great. We reached out to Kyle. We recently found out about Grainery. I'm sure as and when you guys have as well. And if you haven't heard of Grainery, check it out. It's a bit like Instagram, but just for analog photography. But it cuts out all the ads, cuts out all the rubbish, basically, doesn't it? We're okay.
It's just film photographers, and you see work of people that you follow, and that's it. It's lovely. It's what it used to. It's like what things used to be like. Simpler times. But it's nice.
Yeah.
And you like.
But I mean, what Kyle's done as well is absolutely fantastic. And it's still in its very early days at the moment. It's still in like a beta stage at the moment. But it's clearly going to stick around. Do you know what I mean? Like it's clearly
loads of people using it now, isn't there? And
I think there's a good couple of thousand people on it. I might be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure there's a good couple of thousand people on there now.
So go to I think it's grainery.app, but there's a link in the description. Sign up, start using it via your desktop, really nicely actually via the desktop, or using the mobile website. And the app's coming soon, basically, but you can get using it anyway. And if you've got a couple of quid spare each month, sign up to the Grainery Plus that you can do via the website. And it's literally like $3 a month or something. And
$3 a month, or I think it works out at £2.51 or £2 a month.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
100%. Definitely check it out. Really, really good.
Yeah.
But he's a photographer as well, so it's great to have a chat with another.
Well, this is it. He's first and foremost, he's a photographer, which is like he made it because he wanted an app that did what it does. He didn't make it because he thought, oh, I know how to code. I'll make something like Instagram. It was the other way around. So yeah,
he's built it how he would want it as a photographer, which just so coincides with everyone that ourselves and everyone that supports us and everyone else. We're all photographers, so it's built for us people, which is
it's great. I've been using it loads. I'll put links to like our profiles in the description and his personal profile on Grainery, as well as his Instagram profile and all of that.
I'm pretty sure that when you get Grainery, you're already following him. I think he's a bit like a Tom from MySpace.
Is he? Is that why he's got so many followers?
Yeah.
No, he can't be because he hasn't got 2,000 followers.
Oh, is he not? Oh no, I think you still have the option. Maybe you have the option to.
I don't know.
No idea. He's a great photographer. He's a really, really good photographer.
Yeah, really good.
Definitely worth supporting him and following him just to see what updates he brings out on it as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, we wanted to be one of the first people to kind of talk to him, find out why he did it, how he did it, and what it's all about in his own words. So
yeah. Should we mention Front? Yeah, I mean, Front's happening still as usual. If you don't know what Front is, it's a platform where you can create an account and sell prints of your work without having to actually make prints of your work, because we do all the hard work for you. When we finish building it, it won't be long. Yeah, we haven't actually got that much left to do with it. We're just trying to find time to do it.
It's at that point now where we got to a stage where it was kind of like 2 steps forward and 2 steps back, but now it feels like we're making solid progress, and it almost looks complete, to the point where I think we're going to start dropping a few little
some screenshots,
snippets, some screenshots over on our Instagram, just to show you that it does exist and it is happening. And then we'll go into a small testing stage between myself and Luke, and then hopefully we can launch. But when we launch, we'll have to do it the same as everyone else. We'll have to do it in stages. So if you're not registered to the mailing list, link down below, sign up to the mailing list.
It's the only way
if
to
you're
get
on the
on
mailing
there,
list.
first of all. For when it launches, it's the only way that you'll find out when it's launched initially, until obviously we post it on Instagram, but get on the mailing list and you'll get it a few days early or whatever we decide to do. Or you might be part of the testing, beta testing. We've had a few people ask already, and we will ask again, because we're going to do the testing ourselves, plus then we'll add some more people in before it officially launches. But it's enough about that anyway.
Yeah, but for now, enjoy the episode with Kyle. Check out Grainery. Follow him on Instagram and Grainery itself. And that's what the only reason I say Instagram, that's where he's doing all his updates. And enjoy the episode. Drum roll, please.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for joining us. We really, really appreciate it. We imagine like what I was imagining, like Tom Cruise in that, what is it, Minority Report, where he's got like all these screens around him. That's what I imagine you to be like in this like crazy studio.
It does feel like that,
But yeah, thank you for your time, Kyle. I really appreciate it. If you are just checking us out, we're here from Kyle. If you don't know Kyle, he is the man, the brains behind the Grainery app. So yeah, Kyle, in your own words, tell us what Grainery is, and then tell us how it came around and why you want us to do it.
Sure. So Grainery, as it exists right now, is essentially the social platform that I think we all kind of want as photographers, and that seems to be getting further away from what I would call legacy social media, because a lot of those platforms were built kind of on just mining your data and selling you ads. And the only intention, although it was a fantastic place, frankly, a lot of those places were really great for me personally to grow and develop as a photographer, but it just doesn't feel the same. I think we can all kind of lament the abundance of ads and reels and everything, where kind of the algorithms are essentially telling you need to be a videographer now instead of a photographer.
Yeah.
So my thought was, and I started on this idea about 2 years ago. Can I distill down what made those platforms great? What helped me grow and push and be a better photographer, be inspired, find those other people that really inspired me, that I followed and I still follow to this day. And make those connections. And it feels like, the platforms we have now aren't doing that. So I would just set out to kind of create this social media space and community really for analog photography.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I think it's like such a powerful thing. And, like you very kindly shouted out about ourselves, right? Like, we're building something that's based around prints, which in the grand scheme of thing is a backwards way of working, right? A bit like Grainery, right? Like, you're going back to the roots of analog photography. You're not pushing like ads, and it's about building a community and getting these people together. And I feel like in the photography community, everyone thinks it, right? Everyone's thinking the same. Like, we hate Instagram, but we love Instagram. We can't live with it. We can't live without it. But if we could, like we've said on previous podcast episodes, I would pay a subscription to Instagram to not even necessarily remove ads or anything, but just like before they put the kind of chronological order back into it, I would have paid $4.99 a month or whatever it was to have it go back to its kind of roots of Instagram and why we all joined the platform, right? So, and it's really strange because I actually found out about Grainery, and it must have only been a couple of weeks after you kind of started posting stuff, but I was looking for another platform to use, just for somewhere that I can put my work without having the pressure of come have a look at this, or you should be following me, or it was just, at the end of the day, it's like it's your own portfolio, right? And I think what Grainery does really well, and what it will continue to do well, is bring those people together. It will encourage people to connect, leave comments, or actually talk to that person.
For me, the connection was really the thing that was most lacking. So I really wanted to set out to. this isn't even for me. I don't do this. I don't make apps. 2 years ago, I didn't know how to code, so I kind of had to learn to do all this. But I just had this impetus to like, okay, I know it's not just me. I know I'm not the only one who's struggling now to either break out or to feel like the algorithm is pushing me to promote specific content. I just want to, kind of grow as a photographer, as myself. And people need the space to kind of fail. Like I'm not, it's funny, looking back at your, the people you've had on, some fantastic guests already, they're all extremely talented photographers. I still consider myself like a student. And it was very much for me, like, this is not only a social platform, but it's also a tool to kind of learn. And that's, for me, is how I get better at things.
Yeah.
I think it gives everyone like a level playing field as well. Do you know what I mean? Like
fresh start.
Yeah, and like you were saying, yeah, like if you've made a name for yourself within the photography community, yeah, whether it be digital, analog, bloody iPhone, whatever it might be, right? If you're, your Sean Tuckers, your Carl McDougall's, your Willem Verbeeks, yeah, fantastic. They have made it in the photography world, yeah, as much as they would probably not admit that, but they would still consider themselves student of the art form, right? But the leg up that they have on like the Instagram world or social platform is that they've already made a name for themselves, so they're going to get a supporting no matter what. But if you're effectively like a nobody but enjoy it, it's very hard to do that now, because like you said, you've got to start making videos, you've got to start, I don't know, acting like a chicken on a reel. Do you know what I mean? Like yeah. It's not about that. It's about the photography. But unless you're doing those things, you're going to find it hard to connect with people. When really, that's what I feel like is good about Grainery. It's so easy to interact with people because it is about what we can all connect with. Like we met some of our ambassadors the other day for the first time face to face. We went to London and we met two of the front ambassadors. There was never like we didn't like bump into each other and go, hi, my name's Jamie, or this is Luke. It was, oh yeah, what are you shooting right now? Or yeah, let's go.
Know you.
Yeah. And it's an instant bond, right? Like, because you can just talk about what everyone's into, right? And I feel like Grainery is an online version of that, right? Like, and that's how it should be. And that's why we support it. And that's why we wanted to have a chat with you, because I feel like it's got so much potential. And then to see how it's kind of already going, it's only going to kind of get better from it. But I did have a question about you. So you said you only started a couple of years ago, right? And you kind of taught yourself how to like code, which yes. Again, you might as well be talking like the Matrix to me. But was this like a lockdown project? Was this something that came around during kind of COVID times?
Yeah, during COVID.
That's awesome. So good.
I at that time I had just so like I said before, I was living in Queens in New York City, which at the start of COVID became the epicenter. So for me, I didn't know, what the next few weeks was going to have in store for me. I actually never got COVID to this day. I have tons of friends who did, but
touch wood. I've never had it either. Luke's had it about 12 times, but
yeah.
A bunch of scares, but yeah. So I, in New York, you don't have a lot of real estate. So I was in my apartment that I shared with two other guys, and I had a decent upsized space, but I wasn't really going out much. Like photography was the only outlet that I had. I would go out, I would throw my masks on, my glove, and kind of go out and take whatever inspired me. But eventually, I can only do that so much because you're basically it's either that it's your room or it's going out and trying to explore. I stopped riding the subway and everything. So there were a few things that I picked up in the early days just to try and keep myself busy. One of them was it's on Reddit, but Seiko watch modding was one thing. I just like randomly I can tinker around and play around with that. So I built my own assembled my own watch from parts, and I was waiting on it to come in, and like that slow methodical process to wait for things to happen was kind of a fun relief. But I built a computer. I think originally what I thought was going to be the COVID skill that I acquired was I started doing 3D modeling, and I taught myself Blender, and I really enjoyed that. And I thought maybe this is maybe this is what I might be doing next. Because at that time, I didn't know, am I going to have a job in a month, 2 months from now? Like the timeline felt so compressed. Like every day was you couldn't really tell what was too far out. It was just that fog. So for me, towards like late summer, early August, almost like two years ago now, I basically just watched a YouTube video about how to create a clone of Instagram. And it's funny to say that now because there are a lot of parallels. Obviously, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel, but we know where the pitfalls are for that platform, and what kind of pulls us out of it and ruins the experience. So I was like, talking with friends, can I take the best elements from that and bring it into a platform where we think we can actually share and collaborate without feeling like no one's going to see it or it's going to be lost in the feed because it's all jumbled. So I knew a bit of HTML and CSS, but I started learning JavaScript, and from there it just kind of like piece by piece, a YouTube video here, a Udemy course there, and over the past 2 years just kind of been building it up into something that it is now. And it's crazy to think that I'm forever a student. I always continue to love learning, but that somewhat of my skill level, even though I'm not to knock myself, but like I put a bit of work into this, we actually have the ability now to create these things. There's a like secure authentication. There's relational databases that connect everything, and like it's a lot of high level stuff. But at the end of the day, this used to be the territory of major corporations, and major corporations need major budgets, and they need to hire a ton of people. And now you can just have like one guy who's just really passionate about that.
Yeah.
So
it helps that you're like the Tony Stark of bloody photography.
That's very
that's
cool.
what you've become. That's the level you've got to aspire to be now.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you started off with fine tuning like watches and stuff like that, and then
that's really interesting.
Yeah, is that why there's a watch on a skateboard in the background?
Actually, that was I saw all your skateboards. It was because I still have a full-time day job.
Yeah.
It was a collaboration that we did with a company out in California that does laser engraving of like wood and a bunch of stuff. So, I got into watches within the past few years from a friend of mine, and I've just kind of obviously the automatic watches and anything mechanical is really exciting to me. I'm kind of a tinkerer by nature. Yeah. So, and
like I always relate it to like if I look at something like I look at Instagram and I go, right, how can I use Instagram, right, or whatever it might be, where you looked at it and you go, how does that work and how can I make it better myself? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. The crazy thing is I'm sure you guys have experienced the same thing, but there's no guide anywhere. There's no rule book. There's no explainer on how to do this. Like, I remember telling people in the beginning, and I think I mentioned this in an article, but I was just reminded of it. But like, I told the guys in the Instagram group that I've been in for a few years now, like, I would love to see this be something better. Maybe I can do that. And like, I'm sure at the time they might have been, blowing smoke up my ass, but
here's crazy Kyle talking shit again.
He's gonna make an Instagram platform for film photographers, and then not to discount them because I'm not sure that I would have believed in myself at that time, but keep chipping away at it, and I'm sure you guys are doing the same thing. It's just like it is a passion project, and at the end of the day, unfortunately, like, it needs to wait until you clock out and you say, okay, I'm going home and I will now be working on the things that I enjoy. And it's difficult to find that motivation and that energy. Like I don't know how you guys do it, especially, I
know exactly what you mean. It is a lot of motivation, but I'm sure Luke would agree with what I'm going to say. Like for us, like ever since we got the idea of Front, we kind of instantly started like like an Instagram account, because that's where we were like, right, this is going to be the platform. And the only reason we really chose
Like
that,
get the word out.
yeah, and for us, we don't really know how to use Twitter. Like, I got a Twitter account for Front a couple of weeks back, and I haven't touched it for a couple of weeks.
I haven't even made one.
Yeah, I just don't understand how it works, and I'm sure it's good. I'm sure there's pros, cons, like everything. TikTok, I thought it was called Tok for ages. I don't understand it. So for me, like, I know Instagram, so that's what we're going to use, right? But since we started Front, like, we were worried that if we don't have something out soon, people are going to lose interest, or there's going to be another thing that pops up. But the people in the community are so supportive. Like, and there's people out there that know stuff that we'll get advice, we'll get tips and ideas, and straight up, if we just ask someone for help, more than likely they're going to say yes, or say not right now, but I can do that next week, or whatever it might be. Do you know what I mean? Like, the community is so strong that it motivates you, to stay up an extra couple of hours in the evening, or whatever it might be, right? Or like we have this recurring like segment on our Instagram where we do this thing called Sunday Love, and it's just a way of us shouting out 10 people, because obviously that's all we can do, right? And it's kind of built up to this thing where we get such a good response for it. But it's the last thing I want to be doing on a Sunday morning. But it's the second I start doing it, I love it, because I'm sitting there, I'm looking through photos, I'm really thinking about why I like those photos, to the point where I'm like, I wish I could post 100 photos. But I think that's the beauty of it, is that you've got to select, you've got kind of like your own rules to keep to, and there's a reason why that is. But the people, it's more motivating than anything else.
The outpouring of support that I've seen, and that's particularly, like, some people have asked me, like, would you do a digital version? And I'm sure that's, some questions that people have later on. But at the end of the day, like, this community, the analog community in and of itself, is so cohesive, so supportive. And, because I think we're all a bit astounded, for any of us who are, my age, who or older, had the experience to shoot film originally when it was still popular, when it was the only way of making photography.
It was just called photography, not analog photography.
Yeah, exactly. To think that we, as a community, have kept that alive, have been able to keep it off the chopping block. So despite some manufacturers protestations, and obviously we lament anytime we lose a film stock, but this only exists because we are the community that we are.
People spending our money on those film stocks, on that equipment, or searching through hours on eBay to find something that's 50 years, 60, 70 years old. Do you know what I mean? But I think that's the beauty of it. Like, and I think it, I shoot digital, I shoot analog, but like you were saying, maybe there is a future for a digital side of Grainery. I don't know what you'd call it, non-Grainery.
I ideated about this, so I do like some marketing in the side, but I was thinking sensory.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's cool.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Somehow, but...
So maybe that will happen somewhere down the line, right? But like, people say to it, like, people quite often mistaken us for like pure analog. Like, Front isn't just analog, it's for photography, it's for art, right? But the reason we focus subliminally more on the kind of analog side is because me and Luke shoot more analog photography than we do anything else. So you're gonna have more passion into doing something that you enjoy outside, right, than you would anything else. So I feel like, Grainery is great because you're an analog photographer. No matter what level you consider yourself to be at, if that's your passion, your best work is going to come out of that passion.
It's really tight, isn't it? Like, the community. I was talking to my wife earlier about someone else who like reached out to us about like collaborating on something, and I was like, it's literally because it's like, you shoot film, we shoot film, so let's chat about doing something together. And it's like when you're a kid and you're like, I like this thing, you like this thing, so we're friends, and that's all there is to it. And when you kind of like, when I first saw Grainery, I was like, why is it only analog? Why do you not want to include everybody on it? But I get that it's more about like attracting that community. Was it kind of a hard decision to make to just keep it analog?
There were a few reasons that I felt like doing film was more of a priority, I guess, to start out with. One of the things I would say was that, like I've said before, I am a student. I'm continuously learning. Admission time, I still haven't shot Cinestill 800T, which is strange to say, but like I was almost like afraid of this film stock because I had seen some people do like such amazing work on it, and I'm like, how do I need to shoot this? What conditions will give me this result or whatnot? So I would spend my time kind of just poring over images that people shared online, and I frequented the Reddit R analog, and it was really interesting to see how they structured things, how we all kind of consume that media. But I also like that thing where essentially every post had these three pieces of metadata, where you have a camera, a lens, and a film stock. So it gave you some reference point, and you could say like, okay, all right, so this is how this renders that color red, or I can really achieve the look for my portraits that I want with a camera like this. Not to say that like one is better than another, but gear without like going too much down the gas route, like anyone can take a photo and manipulate it in Photoshop and kind of achieve a look that they're going for. If they're shooting raw, basically anything can look similar. At the end of the day, they're all boxes that take in light. But with film, it was like, okay, there is almost a little bit of secret sauce to say, okay, this film stock handles better with if you push it one stop, or it gets a bit more contrast this way. So I was like, how can I leverage this data, this just immense amount of information that people are freely sharing online right now, and how can I use that in my own photography? And that was kind of the genesis of things, of like starting out as almost a database, but having that kind of social side to it as well.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of it though, right? Because like you said, you're a student of photography like everyone, right? But you're going to be learning things through Grainery as a photographer.
I already have,
as much as anyone else, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's that's something that like appeals to me about the platform, is that it doesn't matter at what level you're at. And I've only shot half a roll of Cinestill 800T, and that was only because Luke bought it and I shot half a roll. But the pressure that it gave me, because like Luke, I'm going to blow your trumpet here because I know you won't like to admit it, but you've taken one of the best photos since
taken
the last few ever taken on Cinestill 800T. So it puts the pressure on me. I'm like, I'm not buying that. There's no way that I can shoot a photo like that. Or you see other examples.
Do you know how to learn to shoot a new roll of film? And it's a good it scratches your itch as a photographer who wants to buy stuff, is buy 5 rolls of it rather than 1. Because when you've only got 1 roll sitting there, you're like, I have to wait for the perfect conditions for this. Or what if I put it in my camera tonight, but then I don't finish the roll? I can't use 800T in the day, but you can. But yeah,
absolutely.
if you've got 5 rolls, you kind of give less of a shit. And like, it's almost like shooting digital a little bit more. You're just like, oh, I'll snap that because, I've got 4 more rolls at home or in my bag or whatever. And it takes the pressure off a little bit. So like, obviously it's 5 times more expensive, but you don't get into shooting film to like save money. So it's like, I
think that's a great philosophy, honestly, because I think that we have a lot of trepidation, and we kind of develop these weird habits because of there's both the good points and the bad points to the social media that we've been using. Is that if we suddenly don't get a ton of likes on something, then maybe just pack it in or whatnot. But that's not the case. You need room to mess up. You need room to grow. You need room to experiment, and that's honestly what makes us better at the end of the day.
I think people, like we were saying before we started recording this, right? Like when we spoke to Sean Tucker, we're all fans of Sean Tucker here. Like I would much rather get one comment on a photo that says, I really like this because, or even if it said, I don't like this because, that is, I'd rather have one comment like that than 10 thumbs up. Do you know what I mean? Like, because, but again, that's, you know, it's very kind that people are putting a thumbs up, but you'd rather have genuine feedback than 100 likes and 90 of them are, you know, bloody companies that are just, you know, paying people to go through and like things, right? Like, it doesn't mean anything, but through time it's become this subliminal thing where you're chasing these likes and comments or whatever it might be, and it's not staying true to who you are. But that, again, going back to like the Grainery side of things, like, I love that I have to put my lens in, I have to put my camera in, I have to put the film stock in, and it's relating it to kind of like what we're doing with Front. One of the reasons we got one of the reasons we started Front is because we were sick of seeing Instagram accounts that said, DM me for prints. Well, why not just have a platform that you don't have to write that? You can use the link and it will just take you to your shop, like Grainery, right? What camera did you use? Yeah, like, and the amount of Instagram accounts out there, or social platforms in general, that will post a caption, you know, they'll name the photo or they'll write about it, which is great, and then they'll put camera X, Y, and Z or film stock X, Y, and Z. And even if they edit that photo, whatever it is, they're always writing that bit of information where you've managed to build something that incorporates that as kind of like a given, right? And I think that's again, it's a powerful thing.
Yeah, and it's all indexable too, which is really great. And I mean, the moment I figured that out, I was like, oh crap, there's actually something here. Like, this is useful. You just search to see, you know, if you've been searching after a lens on eBay that you know fawned over for years to you know find that and see someone else that's shooting it, then you can message them and say like, hey, how do you like this? You know, what should I look out for? Because I mean, really, what'll make this platform great is making those connections, and just this era of film photography has been around so long. There's so many people that have a wealth of information and they're sharing it freely. You just like, it's getting in touch with those people. And that's really, at the end of the day, what I'd like to do even more. I mean, when I first started Grainery, when I was kind of hashing out, like, I have a Notion board somewhere and there was no likes button.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do I retrain people to you know, ignore this like double tap feature that we're like, okay, double tap scroll, double tap scroll, double tap scroll, and you're not absorbing it. It's like a good film photo. You can stare at that thing for you know for minutes, and your eye just, you know, pulls you. The photo pulls you through it, and you know that was. I've had people now that kind of the beta apps are testing ask me like, oh, when are we going to be able to double tap? I'm like, I don't know that I'm going to put that in, because I don't want you to just like, you know, your little impulse that we've all kind of, it's like Pavlov's dog, you know.
I suppose it's good because
you'll have the response.
Yeah, and you're going to have people that spend a long time. Like, this is where the whole Instagram thing is, right? Like, the algorithm, they reward you for keeping other people on the app or on the platform, right? But with Grainery, like, it's about connecting those people. So I might go on Grainery. I do it. I do it now. Like, I'm sitting at work, I need a 5-minute break, I'll go on Grainery, and I might only look at 3 photos, where if I picked up my phone, I'll scroll through 100 things, not really consuming.
It doesn't, you've seen 80
don't absorb
ads,
it.
and
I think it's,
remember any of those photos that you saw on Instagram?
Yeah.
Just like a blur between some reels and stuff like that. And it was like,
even if 1 in 10 stick out, it's still not enough. Where Grainery, like, it kind of takes you back to the photography side, where I feel like there's again, without being too negative about it, but I can scroll through, I can sit on Instagram for 20 minutes, and I love that I'm seeing analog photography. Yeah, like, if I'm searching a hashtag, or I'm searching people that have used our hashtag, whatever it might be, I generally enjoy the photos, but there's a part of me that almost forgets to look at the photos and just appreciate that there's film photographers out there, you know, when we're talking about just analog photography. But with Grainery, it's already all analog, so that's great. So it makes you look at the photos themselves, so you can be that judge. I really like this photo because of X, Y, Z, or I like this, but it would have been better if you would have, in my opinion, it would have been better if you did X, Y, and Z, right? And that's how you make better photographers or better artists, and you'll make friends for it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you'll make these connections through it.
That's ultimately what I'm trying to encourage people to do. It's just weird to have to do through ones and zeros. untrained people. And I mean, one of the things I just rolled out last night was frankly long overdue, but the comments and replies and reply notifications. So you're not just, commenting and it's getting lost somewhere, or you can tag someone else and let them know about something. But ultimately, like, your avatar, your user image is right there front and center. And I want people to make those like connections with other people to say, like, I want to encourage, frankly, that critique, that analysis that we have kind of lost. So
whether it be good, bad, motivating, whatever it might be, is engagement. Yeah. So we had a couple of questions on Instagram, but I'm just going to narrow out a few of them. So someone asked us about the subscription side of things. So I appreciate that if you're a subscriber of Grainery, you're more than likely going to get an early access to the beta of the apps and stuff. But what is this? Just to help the people that are listening to this, what is the subscription? What do you get that's over just using the free version?
So, I mean, obviously, the unfortunate part is that in the first place, that in order for these systems to exist, in order for these platforms to exist, they obviously all have to generate some revenue. And thankfully, if I can manage to make this work, I only need revenue for to cover my own personal costs. So, I have a roof over my house, and then that the platform can survive. So I've tried to keep things priced about as competitively as I can possibly do. I still don't know if it's right. It was like a lot of back of the envelope math, but
it is right, and it's a very, very fair price.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah. So basically, $3 a month is our current subscription package. And I haven't really been touting it too much right now because, there's a lot of features I want to build into the Grainery, what I'm calling Grainery Plus. But essentially, first and foremost, storage is the biggest cost. Storage and actually my search algorithm, because we actually have a really powerful algorithm to search all the cameras, lenses, films, hashtags, users, all that stuff lightning fast. And actually, I'm going to have to get on a sales call with them soon to kind of work out how things are going to go in the future. But obviously, first and foremost, you're going to be able to post an unlimited amount of photos. Right now, during the beta, I originally started at 12. I think we're at 18 now. When it launches, it's going to be 36 photos. So you will be able to post 36 photos just as as someone who signs up to Grainery. And if you want to delete something and post something new, so there's continuously, like, you want to refresh your feed, you're more than welcome to do that. And I think that's a good balance. I think as a lot of film photographers, we kind of know that number 36 kind of works. So that both, like, 36 photos is your base. And for $36 a year, essentially, you get to post an unlimited amount of photos. So you can post as many photos on Grainery as you want, as long as they're filmed. It's totally fine. So in addition to that, there's going to be some profile updates, kind of differentiate your profile apart from the core user. So obviously, right now the photos are displayed almost in the same kind of grid that Instagram has, where you have these 3 columns and everything's in a one-to-one crop. But if you have one photo that you want to highlight more than another, you'll be able to, I have a friend of mine that built he 3D printed his own medium format XPan, right? So he's got these ultra wide images, and he was one of the first people to post on here. And I still need to really fine tune the platform for that, but you'll be able to span those images across your entire grid. If you want to take up 3 columns, it can take up 3 columns. If you have a really tall image, it can take up 3 spaces, 3 rows in there, or 2 by 2. So being able to customize your profile is another thing, but I think really the search features and the kind of mini forums that I'm going to make, essentially almost like Discord, where you'll be able to bounce questions off of people and say like, hey, I'm developing X, Y, and Z at home. Like, what settings do you use? And be able to get that kind of feedback instantly. Or, you have, X camera, and when you go to that page for that camera, you can post like, hey, my shutter's getting kind of stuck. Do you know what's going on with this? And get feedback from other owners, because you'll be able to be connected to everyone. And yeah, essentially just really trying to build this kind of community on the back end, where it connects people. And there'll also be a marketplace for people who want to buy and sell gear, because obviously, that's part of the joy, is trying out different stuff. And then I'm also right now, every month I'm giving away a free film, something I'm calling a grain grant. So I randomly pick from the subscribers every month, and it's a drawing. And I sent out like 4 rolls of film to someone in Ireland last month. So
nice.
Nice.
Yeah, it's been really great. And I, at the end of the day, we're so trained that everything on the internet is free, and it's because we've entered this bid where we just accept our data being sold wholesale and advertisements popping up everywhere, that we just assume that everything is has no cost. I'm trying to price things as competitively as possible, so I'm just matching my costs. But I really want to stack in. I want you to feel like you're getting $20 worth of a subscription service for only $3 a month. So at the end of the day, if I could do that, that would be great. So
I think for any passion, right? Like, I used to I've always skateboarded, right? But I don't do it nearly as much as I used to 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever. Yeah, I'd go for a new skateboard every couple of weeks. That's like, I don't know, $50 equivalent, right? For us, but £40 to £50, which is what, $50-$60, right? That's just on the just on the deck part of the skateboard, yeah. But then you have like, the apparel that goes with it that you want to support. Then you've got the wheels, the trucks. It's on £3 a month, and a lot to actually. Fair enough, you've got to buy film, you've got to buy the cameras, all that kind of stuff. But for something you're passionate about, that is a very fair price. I'm signed up to a couple of Patreons, right? Christopher Sturm, I'm part of his Patreon. I think I think I pay $3. I think it's £2.50 a month. But to be fair, I could be way more involved in that. Maybe it's a little bit harder for me from being this side of the pond in the UK. They're all talking while I'm sleeping, so I have to put my phone on silent. But I can still go on there and I'll learn something, or I'll find something out, and it's worth every penny to me. Do you know what I mean? Like, and you think about all these subscriptions that you've got that you don't really use, whether it be Netflix, Sky, or whatever. You could cut something back and do something you're passionate about and learn from, right? But I also think, again, like we said before we started recording this, people buy people. So I'm so glad that you have been so open about your journey, and you don't mind writing, like, just got back from work, guys, I'm working on this, this, and this tonight. But if that didn't, and to be fair, you've kept your word. You've done everything you've said when you said you were going to do it. But if something didn't happen, I'm not going to lose interest. I'm not going to go, that Kyle from Grainery app, I'm not interested anymore because he hasn't fell through today. I've bought into you and your idea, and that makes me want to explore what you're going to build and help support that. And, if something doesn't go to plan, if something doesn't come out tomorrow that you wanted to come out tomorrow and it's another week, then so be it. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're all on the same journey. Like,
exactly.
That sounds,
Yeah, that's really cool.
The other question I had was about the future, but you've kind of just gone into that, so I won't ask you about the future of Grainery.
There is a little bit, ultimately, I think there might be a tier that sits above that like core $3 a month thing.
Grainery plus.
Grain plus, Grain Star, Ultra Grain, 400. Essentially, for me, I wear a lot of hats, especially in this endeavor. I mean, obviously you guys both do too. But as a designer, I think that's, where my passion really lies. So I would ultimately love to do like a quarterly magazine, because I don't know, between the film and everything mechanical, just something tangible just really means something to me.
Like an actual printed magazine, not just a
yes. Awesome. You work in the print industry now. You know the value of like actually seeing your photos, on a tangible material, as opposed to this like just matrix of RGB colors. That would be my ultimate passion. And if we really take off, I'd love to find a way. I have some industrial designer friends to bring a panoramic 35mm camera that doesn't cost $8,000. But that's
I'm buying.
I'll just take my money.
Put my order in now.
I'll pre-order that now, even if it comes out in 20 years.
I know that you can buy like the Fuji G something or other that's a 120 panoramic. You can shoot in 3 different sizes, and you can modify it to do panoramic 35mm. But I don't want that. I want an X-Pan.
right.
But I don't care. Yeah, if there was something an alternative, what can you get, like a Holga or something? They do like a Holga panoramic, but it's a pinhole camera. Maybe it's not Holga. I can't remember, but it's something. But I'm like, no, I don't want with a plastic lens. I want a decent camera, but just
proper camera that actually shoots and doesn't cost,
my mortgage
of a car.
Yeah. Should be cool. I'm buying it then. Yeah, do it. Yeah.
If it's all right with you, Kyle, I'm putting you on the spot now in front of our millions of listeners. You'll come back on somewhere down the line in the near future. Tell us how it's going. Tell us how. I'm sure even if we spoke to you in 6-7 months' time, Grainery will be at another level. There'll be Grainery plus or whatever you call it, Grainery 800T level,
and we'll still be going. Any week now, we're going to launch.
Yeah. No, we will have been launched by then. Luke,
I'm thrilled to see what you guys got. I just signed up for the newsletter. If your viewers haven't, obviously everyone who's watching this by now, if you've gotten to this point, you're definitely subscribe. But if not, do so, and then. Leave a rating and review in your podcast app.
You've just done Jamie's job.